Well, I was telling Crystal of Crystal's Pets that I would do a video of my planter baskets. Right now they're still in a work in progress state. I'm waiting for the price of wood to come down, so I've been procrastinating about finishing them up. But I ran across a YouTube video, Gardening with Leon, and I got the idea from him. And what he does, he takes tubs, buckets, or whatever, and he drills a hole. Let's see if I can find one. About 5 inches from the bottom. And inside here are plastic bottles, and you can use cans or whatever, just so there's a little bit of material above here so there can be some air trapped down in here. And then you take this landscape fabric or something, a membrane that will allow water to flow through, and kind of push it down in between the bottles and whatnot. And then you take, I used an old sheet, here's part of it, and I made myself a wick from the very bottom up to about where the top of the plant comes out of the ground. And then you just fill your garden soil and put your plant in there. And I also put myself a watering tube so I can put water in it straight from here. Put fertilizer or whatever, and it's cut at a little angle so it doesn't sit flat on the bottom of the bucket, and it lets water run out when I'm filling up my bucket. And I just put my hose here and fill it up, and then when water runs out of this hole, I know I've got it as high as it'll go. And it usually lasts me about 2 weeks or so, depending on the weather. So I don't have to worry about, if I miss a day, chances are they'll be all wilted when I come back. And, you know, a little bit of rainwater can go down there also, but I can't really count on it because we either get a lot of rain or no rain. But I've done several things this year the same way, and haven't had any dieback like I normally would, like lose some of my plants if I missed a day of watering. But next year I intend to do my tomatoes and stuff like that, because the side of my house where I have my garden, it just gets so hot and the sun beats down on everything so long that a lot of stuff just has a hard time making it. And I'll show you my tubs on this side. Of course, I've done this plant in the same way. And this is my tub I started a couple months ago, and everything's looking fantastic. To me it is anyways. I've taken several people's ideas, Danny Weshy, Rachel O'Leary, even Jess from the Morning Aquatic Show, and I just kind of combined a lot of their ideas and made this tub into mine. Oh, and a father fish portion. This down here is part of my dirt that I use for my fish tanks, and I've actually used some of these plants in them, and so far they've been in there about 4 days and they have not died and they're underwater. But here's some of the plants that I brought back with my dirt, and they've been here for 2 months or so and they're still growing. And this is some sort of lily I got from Lowe's, and it's got all these little shoots out. I bought one of these, and now I have about 7 or 8. I bought one of those, and now I have two big ones. So they're thriving. And the caladiums, they're just down in the water, bare rooted. And I had one plant that died. And here's part of it that's still managing to thrive, so it's coming back. I don't know what happened, why part of it died and the other part didn't. And I have the worst luck with Lucky Bamboo. But I've put it out here, and it looks like this one side is going to make it while the other side didn't. but it was already 2/3 of the way dead when I brought it out here. But the Creeping Jenny and all, that's really looking nice. And I enjoyed doing the tank just with the plants also. I do have 4 little fish in here. There's just 4 platies somewhere. But that's basically it for these guys. And then here I have a bunch of platies and some corbinjas. And all of my extra rock or anything, I have it in here so it's getting the beneficial bacteria on it. I have a couple Danios in here. I'm hoping they have more. And some hornwort. And if I have little plants that break off, I have a tendency to bring them out here and just dump them in this tub. It's kind of in the shade because it's so hot here. There we go. As you can see, I have buckets with sand and bags of gravel. And it's just always here, so when I need to set up a new tank, I can just come and grab this stuff. And so I'm trying to be more natural with my tanks. I almost dropped my phone in. But it's 81. I checked the temperature a while ago, and it's 81. Of course, now it's in the shade, and it only has about 9 inches maybe that can actually get rainwater if it rains. The rest is under a covered roof. And I put these plants out here to block a lot of the morning sun. So it only gets like maybe 2 hours of direct sun that beats down right here on this little area. The rest of it's under the shade. And that's keeping it a whole lot cooler than it was when it was out on the open deck. It was like at 84 degrees 2 months ago before it ever got hot. So I knew they wouldn't probably live if I left them out there. But the baby corbinjas that I put in here, they're huge. So apparently they liked this setup. And of course the platies have had more platies out here. And since I can't see them, I don't have a clue what I'm getting, but I scooped out some and gave them to my local fish store to sell. And they were all different sizes, so I know there has been more since they came out. But if you don't have room for an inside tank or either maybe just a small tank, it's a break from the inside to put them outside and put the plants. To me, it's just so cool. And I may do another pond next year of nothing but plants. Who knows? But I'm planning on doing my tomatoes next year, and probably bell peppers and all that in those buckets, just like that, and just set them down in these garden boxes. But I'm notorious for sticking something here and something there. It's like a hodgepodge. But as you can see this side, the sun just beats down on it so hard. And if you miss 2 or 3 days in a row of watering, you usually don't have stuff, because it just goes away because it can't take it. But I do have some pretty phlox. They're one of my favorites. And so far I've gotten me one nice bell pepper, and I see another one coming. And of course more phlox and more phlox. And more phlox. I'm more of a perennial girl because I'm too lazy to keep planting every year. And of course I like elephant ears. And I do have some black elephant ears. I don't know if you saw them. They came back this year, so I was pleased. I actually could not remember where I moved them because I had them in the front yard last year, but they didn't do too well. And I see I have some sort of powdery stuff growing on my phlox. So I got to figure out what that is. But this is my little world. And I just have one other little box right here. But the sun hits it pretty hard too. And it gets like 6 or 7 hours of hard sun. So as you can see, like the squash and all, they can't take it. But this is my tub from all my dirt. Part of it. This is from the dirt that was wet that caused me to have all the issues in my big tank. But I've drained out all the water out of it, so I'm hoping that whatever was alive in it won't be able to survive. So when I do the next tank, won't have to mess with all the little burrowing creatures. And this is one of my favorite shrubs. I didn't put it in the ground this year because they died. It's too cold here, so I put it in a bucket. And I'm hoping that I can just maybe set it inside my shed for wintering. And maybe it'll make it. These came back. These are some sort of like Indian head ginger. They have a real pretty yellow and orange, looks like a firecracker flower when they bloom. So this is a little area that I spend some time in. And hopefully we'll spend more. And since I'm wrapping up on a lot of the heavy stuff on the new fish ring. I'm going to take a little break, and I have another stand to build because I need to get one more bigger aquarium, but I've got to wait for some house renovations to happen before that space is available to me. And once that happens, I'll build that stand, and I'll start working on finishing it up and maybe be done with it before the holidays this year. It seems like time just goes so fast. You think you can get a lot done in a day, and you never get done what you plan. And I never used to be like that. I never would stop until I was finished. If I had to stay up to 3 o'clock in the morning, I would just keep working at whatever project. But now when I get tired, I quit. That's why things don't get done as fast. But if I'm alive, it'll be there the next day, I guess. So anyways, this is it. I appreciate you checking out my video, and everybody have a blessed day. Goodbye.